Now, welcome along to Calling It. I'm ENDACOLL. So Celtic take on Livingston at 3 o'clock on Saturday, and here are 5 things that I want to see in that game. So before I start off, Celtic do take on Livingston, but we do also know the opponents in the Europa League third round qualifying draw. It is Riga from Latvia. Celtic have to travel there after they won their second round qualifier 1-0. Now, Riga actually played against Irish champions last year, Dundalk, in the Europa League, and Dundalk actually qualified through that on penalties. Now, Dundalk have been to quite a high standard in terms of Irish football, but they're also nowhere near the standard of the Scottish League in terms of Celtic. So it should be a relatively easy fixture for Celtic. Now, I put a bit of an asterisk beside that because of what happened against Ferencváros, but this genuinely should be a game that Celtic should be getting through with no scrapes. They shouldn't be struggling with this. They should get through it easily enough. They should be putting at least 2 to 3 goals past the likes of Riga. That's the quality of opposition that are coming up against the Europa League. So that is a promising draw for Celtic for the Europa League. Putting inside the Europa League, then Celtic do take on Livingston in Celtic Park at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Livingston are second bottom of the table. They've only won 1 game. They've lost 4 and they've drawn 2. They've also only scored 6 and conceded 11. So this is a game the Celtic again should be winning. Now, 5 things I want to see in this game for Celtic. Well, first up is 3 at the back. We played 4 at the back against St Mirren during the week and it just didn't work for me. It's too defensive. We're a little bit stuck in our own half. You don't get the right players into the team, and I think overall the 3 at the back works a lot better. So he started with El Ahmed, Greg Taylor, Shane Duffy and Ajer against St Mirren. I think that El Ahmed and Greg Taylor are going to drop out of the team, and he's going to get Jeremy Frimpong into the team, and the left wing back is one of the 5 things that I want to see in this game. So I think the 3 at the back will be again Duffy, Gillian and Ajer. Depending on the position, he did play Duffy in the right hand side against Ross County in the 5-0 win, but I think he might move into the middle and get Gillian onto the right hand side. I just think Gillian is a little bit better with the ball at his feet, driving into the midfield and getting forward a little bit more, but I think Neil Lennon has different ideas in his head for that back 3. But the first thing I want to see against Livingston this weekend is Celtic playing a high line with 3 at the back. Number 2 of the 5 things I want to see Celtic doing against Livingston this Saturday, I want to see Scott Brown put on the bench, not because he's been playing poorly. He hasn't been playing great, but he hasn't been playing badly. I just think he needs a rest, and I do think that Olivier Ntcham deserves a chance to play in this midfield 5 or midfield 3, whatever way you want to look at it. I think he works better in the flat midfield 3 with the likes of McGregor and Christie, and I think he offers more going forward with his passing range, with his driving, with his dribbling and with his long range shooting than Scott Brown does. So I think that Scott Brown should drop to the bench. Number 2 on my 5 things Celtic should be doing against Livingston is Scott Brown dropping to the bench and Olivier Ntcham coming in and replacing him in midfield. Number 3 in the 5 things that I want Celtic to be doing against Livingston is ELYOUNOUSSI starting as a left wing back. Now, James Forrest has been playing well enough. He played at left wing back against Ross County and he also got a goal against St Mirren, so it would be a bit harsh for him to drop to the bench, but I do think that ELYOUNOUSSI needs to be given a chance in these games against lower level oppositions to show that he can actually play these positions as well. Give James Forrest a rest. These are the type of games Celtic have such a big squad at this stage, especially in midfield. They can actually rotate quite often and still maintain the momentum that they have with their key starting stalwarts. So I think ELYOUNOUSSI, who is one of our best players in my opinion, should be given the chance to play as a left wing back. If Neil Lennon's going to drive forward with this 3 in the back with 5 in midfield and high wing backs, then ELYOUNOUSSI should be given the opportunity. If Jeremy Frimpong is good enough to get up and down the right hand flank, then ELYOUNOUSSI should be either told or made drive up and down as a left wing back if he can do it. I think he offers a lot going forward. He can cut in if he needs to, but he's also good at dead ball deliveries if he's getting crosses into the box. So I think the 3rd thing I want to see is ELYOUNOUSSI starting as a left wing back, see what he can do and give him the opportunity to play his way back into form because he has been inconsistent so far this season. Number 4 in the 5 things I want to see Celtic doing this weekend against Livingston, and it is scoring goals. It might sound like an obvious one, but it is something that Celtic haven't really done so much this year so far. I know they put 5 past Ross County, but they were so stop-start. They were a little bit lax. They were a little bit sloppy. They just couldn't seem to break St Mirren down during the week, and that might be 1, a little bit down to fatigue, and 2, down to just the game plan that they were playing. and St Mirren, the fact that they had 10 men behind the ball. But you want to see Celtic dominating these oppositions. You want to see them scoring goals. And the fact that Livingston have already conceded 11, they've only won one game this year. This is a game that you want to see Celtic breaking them down. It's on Celtic's home turf. You want to see them free flowing. You want to get their confidence up. And the more goals they score, the more confident they'll be. And the more that momentum will carry on. And first, the biggest thing that Celtic should be concentrating on this weekend is the fact that they can go top of the table until Sunday. I know Rangers are playing on Sunday, and if they get a result against Hibs, then they will go back on top. But the fact that is a massive boost for morale if they can go into the weekend on Saturday night and be top of the table, because they've scored loads of goals and they've dominated an opposition that they should have dominated, and they're top of the table once again, and they're going for the 10 in a row. That is something the Celtic should be aiming for week in, week out in the Scottish League. The fifth and final thing I want to see Celtic doing against Livingston this weekend, I want to see Leigh Griffiths get some game time. He wasn't in the squad for the St Mirren game because he's still carrying a little bit of that calf injury, but Neil Lennon said after the game that he is fit, that he is working his way back into the team, and he's past the worst part of his injury. How bad that injury actually was is hard to know. Leigh Griffiths has been a frustration for quite a few people over the last year and a half. Has just dropped out of the squad entirely. There's some personal issues there behind the scenes, but I want to see him get a bit of game time, play his way back in, because he is a talent. He is a player that can score loads of goals. He is a player that, when Celtic need him, has been called upon and has produced the results from free kicks, scoring important goals. He has done it. So I want to see that player is still there, or if that player is still there, I want to see him play his way back into form, because he has fallen down the pecking order in terms of Ayeti starting, in terms of Klimala now getting game time. If Leigh Griffiths finds himself not getting game time at all, he will fall out of the Celtic team, and he'll be gone from the squad altogether. So I want to see him get a bit of game time, see what he can do, see if he can get himself fit again, and see if that striker that we all loved from a couple of years ago is still in there. Before I finish up, this is the starting lineup that I think that Neil Lennon will actually go for. As I said, I want to see Olivia and Cham starting. I actually don't think that's going to happen. I think Neil Lennon will go with Barkas, Frimpong, Ayer, Shane Duffy and Julian, with James Forrest as left wing back. I actually don't think ELYOUNOUSSI will start there. I do want to see him starting there though eventually. Scott Brown, McGregor, Christie, 2 assists against St Mirren. Neil Lennon was singing his praises afterwards, even though he gave away the goal in the first half, or the first 3 minutes. And then up front, you're looking at Edouard and Ayeti. I do think that's a good enough team to get past the likes of Livingston. It's not the team that I would start. Is that the team you would start? Who would you start? What do you think Celtic should be going for against Livingston? What are the 5 things that you want to see? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will be back with more Celtic stuff throughout the season. I'm ENDACOLL. This has been Calling It. Thanks for watching.